So here it is, 8 steps which helped me reach millionaire status by the time I was 27. Step number 1, get yourself a credit card. What's up, you guys? Tyler Huxford here, and for today's video, we are going to be talking about the 8 steps to attaining millionaire status while you're still in your 20s. So this video is not intended to be financial advice. Rather, it's my own personal experience and the steps I took to achieve millionaire status by the time I was 27. That being said, this video also is not intended to be a flex. Rather, this is a video I wish somebody had made for me when I was in my 20s, trying to learn how to save money, invest money, build wealth, all while preparing for a family. Now, I didn't build my wealth in a flashy way. No inheritance, no trust fund, no company acquisitions, no lotteries. And early on, I wasn't schooled while I was in my teens in the ways of building wealth and investing. That means I had to learn everything about building wealth and then the subsequent management of that wealth all on my own. And it turns out it's not difficult or rocket science. Rich people haven't figured out something that us common folk haven't. It's all about understanding a few principles, sticking to those principles, and being really disciplined. So here it is, 8 steps and principles I learned in my 20s, which helped me reach millionaire status by the time I was 27. Let's jump right in. Step number 1, get yourself a credit card. I know this sounds crazy and you're probably questioning the credibility of the rest of this video, but hang in there with me. This goes against the financial wisdom of a lot of gurus out there, including Dave Ramsey and the baby step millionaires, and just about everybody else's advice to avoid debt. But in order to take advantage of the most impactful and important wealth building steps later on in this video, you're going to need something called a credit score. And part of that credit score is the age of your oldest credit line, which means the sooner that you get a credit card, the easier and sooner you can build a great credit score. And the safest and simplest way to build credit is by building credit through obtaining a credit card and then using that credit card like a debit card, not buying anything you can't pay for today and then paying off that credit card weekly. I also strongly recommend that you get a cashback rewards card instead of a card that rewards you in terms of miles or other travel incentives. Those types of credit cards incentivize living beyond your means and splurging. Instead, get a cashback credit card. Cashback simply gives you a 1.5 to 5% discount on everything you purchase as long as you're paying it on time. Some cards I recommend for young folks are the Quicksilver card by Capital One, 1.5% cash back on everything, the Saver card by Capital One, 3% cash back on certain categories, the SoFi credit card, which gives you 2% cash back on everything, and the Discover It card, which depending on the quarterly rewards program can be up to 5% cash back in that category. I'll make a video specific to the best credit cards for anyone going into 2024. Once I've made that video, I will include that right here for you guys. Step number 2, focus on increasing your income and reducing what you spend. Let's face it, the fastest way to $1 million is to make $1 million. NFL first round draft picks become millionaires overnight, but anybody who makes $1 million and then spends $1 million just ends up broke like the rest of us. So something we all can control and constantly work on is looking for ways to increase our income, which is for the most part in our control, as well as to look for ways to reduce our expenditures and costs, which is something that is completely in our control. Learn to take pride in how much you save. Understand that every $500 that you save and invest today can be worth as much as $5,000 to you in the future. You got to look at everything you save that way. As far as incomes are concerned, constantly be on the lookout for ways that you can increase your income, but make sure that you have at least one channel that's bringing you as much income as possible. When you're young, this is likely going to be your first job. And while you're young, make sure you're looking for a job that pays you for exceptional effort, talent, and dedication. I, for example, work a sales job with a comfortable base, but where the majority of my earnings come from what I sell and how I perform. It puts me way more in control of what I can make simply by how much effort I'm willing to put into my work. Step number 3, find yourself a good electronic bank account, one with high APY. So everyone needs a place to put their money, and putting that money underneath a mattress is a sin, folks. So there's no excuse not to have an electronic bank account. Electronic bank accounts offer high APY, which stands for annual percentage yield, or in other words, the amount of money that a bank pays you simply for holding their money in their bank. Brick and mortar banks do not offer great interest. In fact, it's notoriously awful. With an electronic bank account, you can earn up to $200 simply for saving $10,000 and holding it in an electronic savings account. Electronic bank accounts today are proven. They offer great service nowadays and offer everything from checkbooks to reimbursement worst ATM fees all across the world, there's absolutely no reason not to have an electronic bank account nowadays. If you opt not to have an electronic bank account, then you're simply choosing to walk away from some serious interest income. For those of you interested, I strongly recommend SoFi as a bank option. That's who I bank with. They offer outstanding customer service, and today are offering up to 4.5% interest rates on their savings accounts. I'd encourage you to check them out. I'll leave a referral link in the description of this video. If you use that referral link and put up to $10 in that bank account, SoFi will give you $25 to get started. So use that link, folks. Get paid. Step number 4, look into Roth IRAs. So now we get to dive into the actual investing steps. So the first thing young people should absolutely look into are Roth IRAs. Roth IRAs are unique in that there are absolutely no capital gains taxes applied to gains when you go to pull that money out of investment. Instead, Roth IRAs are taxed modestly up front. Believe me, I wish all investments worked out this way. So for example, if you invest $50 into stocks and it grows to $75, when you go to pull that $75 out, you'll be taxed up to 35% on that $25 gain that you made. With a Roth IRA, your $50 is taxed modestly up front, but then when you go to pull your $75 out of the investment, you get to pocket everything at that point. Now you need to take advantage of this right away. Roth IRAs are exponentially more valuable the earlier you start. As an example, here's an example of what happens to $6,000 if you open up a Roth IRA at 30 years old and you go to pull that out at 60 years old. And here's what happens to $6,000 if you start a Roth IRA at 20 years old and then go to pull that out at 60 years old. And this is what happens if you start a Roth IRA at 20 years old with $6,000 and add $6,000 to that fund every year. Once you start making over $144,000, Roth IRAs are no longer going to be an option for you. So take advantage of this as soon as you can. Step 5, make sure you have a good foundation of ETFs or an index funds. Put simply, an ETF is a basket full of stocks. And by investing in an ETF as opposed to just a single stock, you're more diversified across your portfolio. When you've got a basket full of high-performing stocks, some stocks in your basket are going to perform really well and some aren't. But because you're diversified, ETFs are the best way to ensure that your investments trend in the general direction of the US and world economy. Even ETFs come in a variety of different packages too. So some ETFs are geared towards higher risk, higher growth, things like tech stocks, whereas other ETFs are geared more towards stable and sure growth, things like consumer packaged goods. And other ETFs are really good at providing great dividend returns. So you can get paid on your increases quarterly or even monthly. But the younger you start, the more risk-proof you are, which means you can take advantage of some of those high-growth ETFs out there, things that are invested in industries that are really set to grow here in the future. So take advantage of that too. Step number 6, double hands here. Once you've got a solid, diversified portfolio across a lot of high-performing stocks, make sure you're hand-picking your blue chip stocks. So just to be clear, these aren't your startup stocks or stocks that your friend heard about, but you couldn't spell if I asked you to. We're talking about stocks that are tried and proven. The Googles, the Apples, the Amazons, potentially Tesla. Tesla, in my opinion, is proven here, folks. These companies are here to stay, and you want your next level of investing to include these stocks to help contribute to your wealth growing. As these companies grow, so will your wealth. So pick companies that you would bet your net worth on. What companies do you honestly believe are going to help grow your net worth? Now be prepared. When you start investing in single stocks as opposed to ETFs, suddenly the value of your investments are going to fluctuate a lot more than in a diversified ETF. Be ready for that, understand that. Understand that investing is always a long-term play, especially if you're hoping to achieve millionaire status and not a gambling parlor. Step number 7, house hacking. Now we get to talk about my favorite wealth building step. Hopefully you caught that credit card that we talked about earlier because you're going to need that credit score now. Now I'll make more videos covering this specific step in far more detail than I'm about to cover now. But summarize, house hacking is the act of purchasing a home, moving into that home, and then renting your unused rooms and spaces to tenants. You'll then be earning rental income to cover your mortgage, and then you'll be able to pocket anything you profit as pure, sweet, monthly passive income. You then save up for a down payment towards your next home, and then you repeat the process. This is obviously easier done when you're single and it's just you have to worry about moving into the homes. The better the credit score you build with that credit card, the lower the rate of interest that you'll be paying on your mortgage, and therefore, the more rent you get to pocket as pure net income. Now, the reason that this strategy is my favorite wealth building strategy is because you'll both be increasing your net worth with $500,000 assets every time you purchase a home, but you'll also be increasing your net income each time you house hack, which means net worth is going up, but also your income is going up. And more income means you get to invest more money in the previous steps that we just talked about. Take advantage of this while you can, because once you become a married, established person and you buy a $2,500 fish tank, you won't be able to utilize this strategy as easy. When you move into a home as a rental, you can put as low as 5 to 10% down, and you'll also get a primary residence rate, which is the lowest possible rate you can pay on a mortgage. When later in life you want to purchase a rental without moving in, you'll be required to put down as high as 25%, and then the interest rate you pay on a rental property is not quite as low. So you won't get to pocket quite as much profit from the rental income you'll be generating on a home that you didn't move into in the first place. Step number 8, your big bet options, your stocks and your cryptos. So this is the final step towards building wealth. Not the first step, the last step. After investing in safe and diversified options like ETFs, blue chip stocks, and real estate, now you can be more opportunistic in your investing strategies and invest in what you believe is the future. So for some of us, that's going to be foreign markets. For others, newly public companies, or for some of us, it's crypto. And for others, it might be a new venture or side hustle that they want to work on. If you followed the steps up to this point, you're going to have great income and bags of wealth to pull from in order to start those ventures on your own without incurring any additional debt. Now, there's tremendous potential in earnings in this type of investing, but I must provide the caveat that for every one person you've heard about who's made $1 million investing in something as volatile as crypto, there's 1,000 other people who have absolutely lost their shorts on risky investments like that. That's a real thing, and it's got to be talked about. So make sure you have the discipline to hold off on investing in these types of investments until you've built the foundation. I personally don't let my portfolio exceed 10% with these types of investments. So there you have it, folks, the 8 steps towards becoming a millionaire. Nothing sexy, nothing flashy, just basic and simple steps which are repeatable and which, if you stick to, is going to make you serious wealth and money over time. I will be posting wealth building as well as life coaching videos every week. If you like this sort of content, go ahead and like and subscribe. Be a part of the fam here, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Safe investing out there, folks.